Let us summarize the conversions. Among all the prefixes, we are only interested in 4 of them. First one, remember, was mega. We said that we are showing mega with only capital M, and it corresponds to 10 to the power 6, which is, you write 6 zeros next to 1, which is 1 million, isn't it? 1 million. Whenever you see mega, you remember 1 million. Next comes kilo. We show it with small k. You all know from kilogram, kilometers. So it's 10 to the power 3. K stands for 10 to the power 3. 3 zeros next to 1, which is 1000, isn't it? Yeah, this is it. Okay, and then let's put our unit here. This will make sense. Unit is just 1. Okay. Okay, and then comes milli, like in milligram. So it is small m. Don't confuse this capital M and small m. When you write them, I need to be able to understand which one you are writing, or any person. So write them understandably. So milli is 10 to the power minus 3. So whenever there's a minus power, like here, right? What we do is, we can write it like this. Get rid of the negative power, but put it in the denominator. Okay, so this is 1000. 1 divided by 1000. Another way of writing it is 0.001. Okay, so 1 is in third place after the point. Okay, and then lastly we have micro. We show micro with a letter like this. There's a tail, like a cat tail, and this is 1 millionth. So micro stands for 10 to the power minus 6, which is 1 divided by 10 to the power 6. 1 divided by 1 million. 6 zeros, right? Or if you have to write it like this, 0.1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 1. Okay, so this should be really clear for you. Let me zoom out and move this up. Okay, now we will do some examples so that we can point out places where you might be confused. Okay, so when we say mega is 10 to the power 6, what do we mean? Okay, first of all, let's pick our unit as, I don't know, ohm. Okay, it can be ampere, volt, kilogram, anything. Okay, so if I see 1 mega ohm, I can automatically say that since mega is 10 to the power 6, this is 10 to the power 6 ohms. Okay, which means that mega is so big, 1 mega. Okay, the unit is just 1 millionth of it, very small. This is the ohm, let's say, or meter, and this whole thing is 1 million of ohms come together and they make mega ohm. Okay, imagine like that. If I know that, let me erase this part. So you need to be taking notes, because I will keep erasing some stuff, okay, to save space. So in your notebook you should write everything. If I know that if I know that 1 mega ohm is 10 to the power 6 ohms, what is 1 ohm in terms of mega ohm? Okay, remember our figure, we said that if this line shows mega ohm, right, or megameter. Ohm is just 1 millionth of it. Therefore, what you do is you just take this, inverse it, 10 to the power minus 6. 1 millionth of mega ohm is the ohm. Okay, so from here to here, okay, you can go by just taking this number and writing inverse of it. Okay, so you need to work on this. Make sure that you understand. Okay, and we are going to keep applying, okay, similar idea to the other prefixes too. Okay, so let's move on. Kilo, we said that stands for so if I have 1 kilo ohm, I can write easily that this is 10 to power 3 ohms, 1000 ohms. So this means that if this is kilo, if this is 1 kilo ohm is just 1000 of it, very small, right? Okay. If I know this, can I write 1 ohm in terms of kilo ohms? Again, same thing. Take this guy and write it as if it's 1 over 1000. Okay, so if you know this, and you should know this, you should memorize this. 1 kilo stands for 10 to power 3. Going the other way around, you just change the power, make it negative. Okay, same thing applies to the other guys. So we know that milli stands for 10 to the power minus 3. Therefore, 1 milliohm is 10 to the power minus 3 ohms. This is what it means. Okay, so if I know that, can I write 1 ohm in terms of milliohm? Yes, I can. Just change the sign, 10 to the power 3. And makes sense, right? Like, think in terms of meter and millimeter. So ohm, if this is ohm, milliohm, you need, milliohm is just 1000 of it, very small. Therefore, you need 1000 of these milliohms to make the ohm, to make 1 ohm. Okay, and then lastly, we said that 1 micro ohm is 10 to the power minus 6 ohms. See, instead of micro, I'm writing 10 to the power minus 6, but I'm keeping the unit. So units are very important. Whenever you are writing any number, there should be a unit next to it. Otherwise, doesn't make sense. If you don't know what it is, if it is volts or amps or ohms, if you don't know that, then means that you don't know anything. Okay, so show that you know by writing the right units. Okay, so from here, can I write 1 ohm? This is a 1 in terms of micro ohms. How many? Okay, 10 to the power 6. From here to here, I'm changing. See, I put ohm here, micro ohm here, okay, and then I change the sign. And this makes sense because micro ohm is so small, we need 1 million of it to make 1 ohm. Now let us see some examples so that everything makes more sense. Let's see. If we are asked to convert 2.5 kilovolt into volts and millivolts. So we are asked how many volts is 2.5 kilovolts. How many millivolts is the same thing. Okay, so we know that K stands for 10 to the power 3. It means that 1 kilovolt is 10 to the power 3 volts. Okay, therefore, if 1 kilovolt is 1000 volts, 2.5 kilovolt is gonna be automatically 2.5 times 10 to the power 3, right? This should be clear for all of you, hopefully. How can we go from, so let's write the answer here. So it is 2.5 times 10 to the power 3. Okay, and actually if you have to write it openly, you multiply 2.5 by 1000, you get 500, 2500 volts. Okay, how can we go from volt to millivolt? So we said that M stands for 10 to the power minus 3. This means that 1 millivolt is 10 to the power minus 3 volts, right? From here to here. You all understand that. Okay, hopefully. Okay, but I'm trying to go from volt to millivolt. Okay, so I need to find out how many millivolts is 1 volt. Okay, you can pause the video here and write your answer and then check it. We said that we are just taking this equation and inversing everything. Oops, millivolts. Sorry, millivolts. Okay, so if I know that 1 volt is 10 to the power 3 millivolts, okay, if I have 2500 volts, I will just multiply it with 10 to the power 3 and get the millivolt. Okay, so can we write this more presentable? We can go something like this: 25 times 10 to the power, what am I going to write here? There is 3 coming from here and 2 coming from here. 2 plus 3, 5. 10 to the power 5 millivolts. Okay, so this is the answer. Let's write it here. So it's gonna be 25. We said 25 times, right? What was it? 10 to the power 5. 10 to the power 5 millivolts. Okay. Let's see 2 more examples. What if we are given 3600 amps and asked to convert it into kiloamps and milliamps? Okay, so there's no need to be panicking. Okay, first of all, we know that K stands for 10 to the power 3. This means that 1 kiloamp is gonna be 1000 amps. Okay, but we are trying to convert amps into kiloamps, right? So from here I can go 1 amp is 10 to the power minus 3 kiloamps. Okay, knowing that, now I'm asked to convert not 1 amp but 3600 amps. Therefore, if 1 amp is 10 to the power minus 3 kiloamp, 3600 amp is 306,000 times 10 to the power minus 3 kiloamp. This is a minus. Okay, so this means we said that it is as if you are dividing by 1000, right? So 3600 is divided by 1000 kiloamp. From here we can get rid of 2's, and then 36 divided by 10 is 3.6 kiloamp. Okay, so this is the answer to the first part, 3.6. Okay, And here you can stop and think about it. Yes, amp is smaller than kiloamp. Amp, you need like 1000 of amps to make a kiloamp. So therefore, this kind of equation, this first part of the question, the answer we found makes sense. Okay. How do we go from kiloamp to milliamp? Either you can go from kiloamp to milliamp, or you can come back and still look for so let's go from, so this was the question, is how many milliamps. Okay, so we said that milli stands for 10 to the power minus 3. You memorized that, right? So 1 milliamp is 10 to the power minus 3 amps, which means that 1 amp is 1000 milliamps. Okay, therefore 3600 amps is gonna be 3600 times 10 to the power 3 milliamps. Okay, we can write this nicely. 36 times 10 to the power 5, because 3 zeros from here and 2 zeros from here, still the unit is not changing, milliamps. Okay, so we can go ahead and write this answer. Let's erase the question mark and write the answer. 36 times 10 to the power 5 milliamps. Let's do one more example. So not just by watching, watching is easy. Can you stop the video and answer the questions first and then check if you did it right or wrong, or pick some other examples and work on them, because you need to make this information your own. 1.3 mega ohm. How many milliohms is this? Okay, so we need to remember, that's why unit is important. So our unit is ohm. Okay, mega, remember, stands for 1 million, right? Which means that 1 mega ohm is 1 million ohms. What about milli? Milli is 10 to the power minus 3. 1 milli ohm is 10 to the power minus 3 ohm. Okay, so I can go from mega to ohm, and then from ohm I need to go from ohm to milliohm. Therefore, we need to change this equation, make it 1 ohm is how many milliohms? 10 to the power 3 milliohms. Okay, so knowing all this information, I'm just rewriting everything so that I can do it nicely. Okay, so if I know 1 mega ohm is 10 to the power 6 ohms, therefore I can say that 1.3 mega ohm is 1.3 times 10 to the power 6 ohms. Okay, so this last equation comes from this guy here. Okay, so from here, how can I go to milliohm? I know that 1 ohm is this much, like 1000 milliohms, right? So first of all, write my number, 1.3 times 10 to the power 6, exactly. Now instead of 1 ohm, I'm gonna write 10 to the 3, this is 0. Now I can write milliohm. So instead of ohm, I'm writing 10 to the power 3 milliohm because of this equation here. Okay, let me go up. So what is this? I need to make this little bit nice looking. So we have 1.3, can stay there. We have 6 from here and 3 from here. Remember we said that whenever same number to the power something is multiplied, not added, multiplied, we can add 6 and 3 and make it 9 million. So this is the answer. 1.3 times 10 to power 9. I need to go back and write it. Okay, always whenever you find the answer, here we are. Make sure that you are writing it in the place so that you can get the credit. So this is 1.3.